Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. It's Free Gift Friday. TGIF, am I right? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a wonderful guest here with me today. She was introduced to me by one of my business besties, Gina, and her name is Audrey. Audrey, how do you say your last name?
Hutnick.
Okay, so I hate mispronouncing people's
Mhm.
names because people mispronounce my name only all the time. So
Totally.
the best one, I think, I tell people about this all the time. The best one was when I was being wheeled in to deliver my baby, and the orderly is calling for me to come over, and he's like, David Shepherd, David Shepherd. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
wow, there's somebody here named David Shepherd
yeah.
delivering a baby. That's awesome. And also so close to my name. And
I
he's
know.
still calling David Shepherd. Nobody's going forward. And I realized, oh, in the
There's
context, I would think he would have kind of figured that he got it wrong, but hey, it's
there's
all
so much value to a name. So
so much
absolutely.
value. So thank you
Yeah.
for giving us the opportunity to pronounce your name appropriately.
Thank
I
you.
want to say hi to all our friends who are joining us over on our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Welcome. You know the rules. You have to be in it to win it. So it's Free Gift Friday. And of course, by being on the show as a guest, you get a chance to win our Free Gift Friday present. So Audrey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And will you share with everybody who are you and what are the wonderful things that you are doing in the world?
Yeah. So at the core of it, I am a strategic marketer and business owner of Small Wave Marketing. Started Small Wave Marketing last May, May of 2020, in the thick of the pandemic, and really started Small Wave to set out to provide affordable marketing strategy to nonprofits and small businesses. And a little bit of the deeper why I kind of set out to start Small Wave Marketing is I got started working at an aluminum foil company. I was a purchaser there, and it really kind of was soul sucking a little bit. It didn't touch on my deeper passions and kind of rejuvenate me day in and day out. And so that really is what led me down the nonprofit path. And then ultimately to start Small Wave Marketing to help other really mission minded people, business owners, women, to set out to what they succeed and connect people where we can.
So, when people come to see you, Audrey, what's the number one thing that they're coming to see you for?
Yeah. So at the base level, it's to market their idea. So whether they are a nonprofit leader or a small business owner, and whether they are just getting started or they've been in business for 5 years, it's to market some sort of service or product. So that's the core of it. But oftentimes there's a deeper level of overwhelm and just needing to know where to get started, knowing that there's so much out there in the marketing world, and how do I create a strategic plan? How do I divide it up into tiny little attainable pieces and ultimately accomplish that? So just really kind of tapping into the overwhelm and accountability piece as well.
So, not only are you helping them with their marketing, but you're also helping them with their strategic plan. I think that's amazing because, it's I feel like for a lot of us who are in small business, a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, we're kind of throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks. So maybe we'll do a reel on Instagram today.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll do a Facebook Live tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a TikTok video at some point in time, and
Yeah.
it's just like there is no rhyme or reason to
Yeah.
the things that we're out here doing, and being able to work with somebody who is, yes, going to help us with our marketing, but also help us to plan strategically. That's generally very, very helpful. So, what are some of the things that you're finding that clients who come to work with you are struggling with the most? Like, just things they're not
Yeah.
getting right.
Yeah. Well, I think you identified it a ton in terms of throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. And to a certain degree, that's great. Like that is, you have to test some things in marketing to see what works and what doesn't. But oftentimes it's not with a greater strategy. So oftentimes it's, I'm a yoga coach. I see my fellow yoga coaches posting on Facebook every day. So that's something I need to do. And that's not necessarily the case. Maybe your specific audience isn't on Facebook, or maybe that's not just something that you're motivated to do and passionate about doing. So what is often the case is once we kind of do that deep dive, kind of pull off some of the layers, we can really identify what it is you're excited to do, where your audience is, and then in a more strategic way, we can throw some things against the wall and see if it sticks and learn from that.
So throwing things, what I'm hearing from you is that throwing things against the wall, not terrible, but doing it in a strategic
Yes.
way is the way to go. So what comes to mind here for me is like split testing and
Yes,
things like
exactly.
that. Can you tell us a little bit more about how we can strategically throw things against the wall?
Yeah. Yeah. So, more technical term is A/B testing. So, for instance, if you're going to send out an email newsletter, one of the things that's commonly forgot about is the subject line. And, but that's actually one of the most important parts about your email, because if they're not attracted to your subject line, people might not open it. So, kind of that technique of trying things out is A/B testing. So, you can have the same email with two different subject lines and then see which one is clicked more. And then you go with that one. So again, going back to that strategy behind everything, to really lead you and keep the frustration at bay, because you're seeing how you can learn from the data that's coming from what you're trying.
And I see how that would be beneficial because I think we tested a subject line the other day and it was ridiculous. It was like, here's a here's a joke for you. It was such a stupid subject line, but then our usual subject line would be something more serious and, really meaningful, like our next meeting is on XYZ day. Mark your calendar. And it was interesting because we got a ton of opens for the here's a joke for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, great job in testing that out, because sometimes that kind of touches at that like vulnerable piece of like, is this stupid, or like, what do people think of it? But that proved to you that trying some of these things, was beneficial.
Yes, it definitely was beneficial. So you would say that sometimes as a marketer, sometimes going into the absurd might actually pay off. You never know.
Yeah.
Always be testing.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are some of the things that people are getting right? Things that people are doing really, really well?
Yeah. Well, I think that from like a greater business standpoint, not just the marketing, it's surrounding yourselves with the right community, and finding who your people are. So, I mean, I think that taps into like that deeper level of who is your target audience, and then how do you get in front of them. And I think that once you tap into that and you're surrounded with people that support you or are agreeing with what you're saying or the products you're putting out, that is just going to be a huge momentum boost with everything you do, especially individual marketing tactics.
Awesome. I'm gonna ask you to, Gina was on earlier. I don't know if you know, but she was on earlier teaching about opt-ins. So it's really awesome that I have her friend here in the afternoon. That's really, really cool. But one of the things that she shared is that when you are out and about and speaking and making your opt-ins and all of that, don't be afraid to really go deep and share nuggets of wisdom. And so my ask for you today is tell us something, some little known fact about marketing that can really up level all of our
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, I mean, at the core of what we try to do with small wave marketing is really use our resources and get scrappy and see what's out there before you have to really invest and dive in wholeheartedly. And so one great piece of advice I would say is just use the free tools that are out there, and work with that until it doesn't fulfill your needs. So for instance, people may see, oh, Facebook advertisement, I need to do Facebook advertisement, I'm going to throw in thousands of dollars and then see what it brings me. But what if you started with just building your organic Facebook presence and seeing, the engagement and those authentic conversations you can have, and that might pay off way more than that initial investment. So what I always like to say is start with the free tools, see how those work for you, and then build off of that as your business grows or momentum grows, or your capacity grows.
That's a really, really great tip. And whenever we have guests on the show, one of the questions we like to ask is, what resources are you
Mm-hmm.
plugged into
Yeah.
that you think we could be taking advantage of? So it's great that you brought this up because
Yeah.
we really want to know, as an expert marketer, what are some of the tools that we could be using that we're probably not?
Yeah. Yeah. And love free tools. So I have a whole bank of these, but to get started, I would really say, take a look at the Google Suite. And, if you're using Outlook or Teams or anything like that, that might be a little different. But one of the things that we did to get started was, of course, we have our Gmail and our Google Drive and Google Photos. But to take that a step further, we also have Google My Business. So that's a free tool that you can list your business on Google. So if you search like coffee near me, it's kind of that search finding that comes up on the right side. But the benefit of that is it's a great way to build your to build up testimonials, but build your credibility. So if you have some really positive reviews, kind of collect them on Google My Business for free, and build up your SEO, build up your credibility. And that's free right there. There's also Google Analytics, which is free. So you can put that on the back end of your website, and you'll really be able to get some deeper insight as to who's visiting your website, from where. And it's oftentimes a bit more of a deeper dive than like a Wix or Squarespace, the analytics that come from there. So I always like to kind of work with platforms that can talk with each other, and really focus on the free ones, and so that it's just easier for us all to learn and to keep track of where everything is, and building up that way.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Google Suite tends to be one of the most free, underutilized things that's out there. And I mean, Google Your Business is, I always tell people, try to use anything Google. Like, even if your audience isn't sitting on YouTube, still post videos on YouTube because it gets you higher in the rankings. Now, I'm not an expert on any kind of marketing, but I know that people use Google as the number one search engine,
Yeah.
and that YouTube is a number two search engine. So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to be there, and you kind of want to also look at their analytics to see
Yeah.
how you are doing as far as your web presence and that sort of thing. I think that is an amazing, really, really outstanding recommendation. Any
Yeah.
other things that you think we should be plugged into?
Yeah. So just one more thing on Google. I mean, another really helpful tip is if you just enter into Google a question about like your business or whatnot. If you're looking to create a blog post and you're like, what can I write about my architecture business? And you type in what is architecture, it will autofill some of the answer or some of the questions being asked, and you can use that as your blog topic. So that's also another free way of kind of doing some SEO, but like at a base level. So there's tons of stuff out there. But when it comes to other resources, I am a huge reader of like business books. So some of them that really come to mind are The Power of Moments by Chip Heath. So that's really focused on, moments are typically defined like in our society by, okay, it's January 1st, we start over, but you can create moments wherever. So it's maybe your client is celebrating their $10,000 in revenue. And that's huge, celebrate that for them or yourself. Maybe you're taking on your 25th client, celebrate that yourself and really create those defining moments for you and your business and your clients. So that one's a huge one we always rely on. And then Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Of
That's
course.
yeah, that's just, great to kind of come back to the ultimate, like, why did I get started? Why did I start small wave marketing to begin with? And as your business grows and people are saying, oh, you're too expensive, you're not expensive enough, or this is the client for you, this isn't, going back to that why. So those are two books that I always kind of find myself going back to.
I love, of course, Simon Sinek. I believe that he lives inside of my head. So that's wonderful. The Power of Moments, though, I want to go back to that
Mhm.
book because what has your experience been, Audrey, with working with so many entrepreneurs over the years? Have you noticed that they really don't take the time to celebrate the moments?
Oh, 100%. And and it's one of those things where I even have to always remind myself to celebrate it. For instance, my business partner and I, our 1 year anniversary of our businesses in 2 weeks, and we're talking about a strategy day and how do we focus on the future. But then someone had to remind us, like, how are you celebrating yourself? Like, are you guys going to go
Yes.
get manicures or go out for some champagne or something? So, I mean, moments are really whatever you make it. And it's just, it truly turns opportunities inside out when you really celebrate them.
I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
And I really am guilty of that too. And maybe that's why it popped out at me when you
Mhm.
mentioned it. I really do need to spend a little bit more time celebrating the moments. It's so wonderful to have you on the show today. And, before we wrap up here, any final words, anything that you would want us to really take away, if we take nothing else away from your
Yeah.
conversation with us today, you just want us to keep that thought in our mind,
Yeah.
what would that be?
Yeah, so I would say it's, focus on the little attainable steps you can do to make change. So, we talked about Start With Why, and I'll go back to kind of our namesake of small wave marketing. The reason why we chose that name is we're really focused on the little ripples or the small waves that you can take to essentially conquer your marketing. And so I think it's really important as business owners, as women, there's just so much out there to accomplish, and it can be overwhelming. And so I really urge everyone to take that step back, make phases. I don't want to say make a to-do list. I think that can be overwhelming in itself, but really identify like attainable steps you can do to achieve your goal, and then going back, celebrate it when you get through each phase. And I mean, because it's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think that's really important to remind yourself of, and be easy on yourself about.
I'm just loving that. I remember back in the day I used to have a sign off on my email and it said life is a journey. And I think as entrepreneurs we're so focused on the end goal that we forget that the whole journey should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And so getting caught up in the to-do list can be
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah.
so, so overwhelming. But taking it in phases and looking at it from the point of view of small steps and celebrating the achievements, that is
Mm-hmm.
really a wonderful way of looking at it and taking the time to enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
journey of entrepreneurship, which I feel like if I don't know. What do you think, Audrey? If we're actually enjoying the journey of entrepreneurship, isn't that going to make us more attractive to the customers that we're
Oh,
trying to attract?
I mean, it will shine through in everything you do. And, I think that, like, as a relatable moment for myself, talking about how I started working at an aluminum foil company. And then when I shifted to nonprofits where I so identified with the mission, and, just every day was like exciting. And there was just like a different aura and excitement. And just like, I felt like a different me from the day to day. So absolutely.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So it is Free Gift Friday,
Yeah.
everybody. And Audrey does have a free gift for us. Audrey, will you share what it is that you're going to give away for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So to get started with our clients, we often do a deep dive. It's a 2-hour assessment. And with that, we say we like to kind of unpack the closet, really pull apart the pieces, and then put everything back in with like a greater strategy of your marketing, how you're going to achieve that. So I'm really excited to offer an hour of that time to really see what we can unpack. And oftentimes just a little bit of marketing consultation, and having someone else take a look at what you're struggling with could be just the direction needed to move forward with some momentum and some energy.
I love that. I wish that I could enter myself into the drawing, but of course, I'm not going to. So I'm going to invite you to choose today's winner, and I'm going to ask you to choose a number, please, between 1 and 20.
I'm going to choose 18.
And great news, everybody. The great winner for today is Robin Finney. Awesome. Congratulations, Robin.
Robin.
I think you will find there are no accidents. I was actually thinking to myself earlier, huh, Audrey should meet Robin. I think they'll get along really, really well. So
Ooh.
it's no coincidence. This is so funny that Robin ends up being your winner. And Robin is watching over with us over here on our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. And we're seeing hearts and likes, and she's saying, woohoo. So she's really, really excited to connect with you, Audrey, and to learn all about how to be more strategic with her marketing. Thank
Yay.
you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for joining the Friday party. Thanks for being a part of Ladies Power Lunch. I just want to say before we go that there is so much value that's being offered to all of us by our members, just showing up and sharing about all the things that can help us advance our business. Of course, sometimes when there's a lot going on, it can be difficult to keep up with everything. So my suggestion is going to be to you, just keep clicking on that events tab in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. And that way you'll have an opportunity to see all the things that are going on. I will invite you to join us on Monday for Ladies Power Lunch, our monthly networking meeting. And then later in the week, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, our super member Darla Ledoux is going to be hosting Shift the Field Live. I will be there. I hope you all will be there too. And we have one more thing that's coming up later this month. A lot of people have mentioned that they would really like some support around money mindset. And so we're going to have a full week of workshops just helping us to get our minds straight as far as our money goes. And I feel as though if we can use this springtime to just clear out those old beliefs about money and to really do a little spring cleaning around the way that we think about our money and our money mindset, then we can spend the rest of the year growing from strength to strength in our business. So thanks everybody for joining. I hope you guys will join us for all the wonderful things that we have coming soon. And I'll see you guys on the next show. Take care, Audrey.
Bye. Thank you.